What if an AI could look at a picture and not just see it, but actually understand the world inside of it? You know, the depth, the space, the physical reality of it all. Today, we're diving into a brand new system that's teaching machines to perceive in 3D dimensions. And honestly, it could change everything about how they interact with our world.
Okay, so let's just dive right in with a question. When you look at this picture, you get it instantly, right? The teddy bear's in front, the penguins are a bit behind it. But how does an AI learn to see that? How does it make that jump from just a flat 2D image to really understanding the 3D world we live in?
For a long, long time, AI has been awesome at figuring out what's in an image. It can look at this and say, yep, that's a penguin. But think about it. For a robot in a warehouse or an augmented reality app, that is just not enough. They've got to know where the penguin is, how big it is, and how it's turned. That's the real game changer here. Going from just seeing to actually understanding.
So why has this been so tough? I mean, why is that leap from 2D to 3D such a massive hurdle for AI? Well, as it turns out, there have been a couple of major roadblocks really holding things back. Just think about it for a second. Older AI systems, they basically learned from this tiny menu of objects. You know, cars, chairs, people. You couldn't ask them about a fire hydrant or kite. And maybe even worse, they were trained in these perfect, almost sterile digital worlds that looked absolutely nothing like our messy, cluttered, and unpredictable reality. And this, right here, shows that gap perfectly. On the left, you've got the kind of clean, simple data that AI used to learn from. We're talking less than 100 types of objects. But on the right, that's what it needs. The chaos, the variety, the in-the-wild world, with over 13,000 categories of things. So to bridge that enormous gap, a team of researchers from the Allen Institute for AI and a few partner universities developed this really elegant two-part solution, and they call it WildDet3D. Okay, the name might be a bit of a mouthful, but the idea behind it is actually super simple and incredibly powerful. WildDet3D is a system built to tackle both of those big problems we just talked about, all at once. It does it with a smarter, more flexible model, and by training it on a massive new dataset that's actually built for the real world. This diagram kind of lays out the whole shebang. You can see how you take any image, combine it with any kind of prompt, and feed it into the WildDet3D system to get these amazing 3D outputs. So let's break this whole thing down, and we're going to start with the model itself. All right, so what's the big deal with this WildDet3D model? Well, it's all about interaction. Instead of it being some kind of mysterious black box, you can actually prompt it. You can tell it what to look for in a few really intuitive ways. This is what makes it so incredibly versatile. You can literally just type a word like kite, and boom, it'll find all the kites. Or you can just tap a specific point on an object. Or, hey, you can draw a simple 2D box around something, and the AI just takes it from there. Now, what's really cool is the model's already amazing with just a single flat 2D image. But give it a little help. If it has access to depth data, say from a smartphone's LiDAR sensor, its performance gets a massive 20.7% boost. It's really like the difference between us seeing with one eye versus two. But look, a smarter model is only half the battle, right? To truly see the world, the AI needs to learn from data that actually comes from the real world, not some sterile, perfect lab environment. So the research team came up with this really clever pipeline to build their dataset. They used multiple AIs to scan existing 2D images and suggest 3D boxes for objects. Then they had human annotators go in, review those suggestions, and pick the very best, most accurate one. It's this perfect marriage, right? You get the sheer scale of AI with the sharp judgment of a human. And the results of all that work? Well, it's WildDet3D data, and it's the largest open 3D detection dataset ever created. We're talking over 1 million images with more than 13,500 different categories of objects. That is just an incredible amount of variety for an AI to learn from. And this chart, wow, it just puts it all in perspective. This is a 8 times leap in object categories, from under 100 in the old datasets to nearly 13,500. This massive vocabulary is exactly what lets the AI generalize and truly work in the wild. All right, so let's recap. We've got a super flexible, smart model and this massive, diverse data set. So what happens when you put them together? Let's see what this thing can actually do. Okay, let's circle all the way back to our friends here, the penguin and the teddy bear. We start with the exact same flat 2D photograph that the AI would see. So tapping into that enormous library of training data, the model first scans the scene and identifies all the different objects, and it draws these familiar 2D boxes around them. And then, here's the magic trick. From that one single image, it generates 3D boxes, basically lifting each object into three-dimensional space. It's estimating their real-world size, their position, and how they're oriented, all from just one flat picture. It's incredible.
Now, this is so much more than just a clever trick. This ability to perceive geometry, to understand our world in 3D, is a fundamental shift. It unlocks this huge wave of incredible real-world applications. We're talking about technology that's going to power smarter robots that can understand a command like, pick up the mug on the left. It's going to create way more immersive augmented reality, where virtual objects can actually interact realistically with your room. And it could even turn your phone into a powerful interactive 3D scanner. You know, the researchers themselves said it best. This is all about moving beyond just recognizing what an object is. It's the difference between knowing what something is and truly understanding its place in the physical world.
And that just leaves us with this huge, kind of mind-bending question, right? We are right on the verge of giving machines a perceptive ability that is so fundamental to how we experience reality. Once AI can see our world in 3D, just like we do, what are we going to build with it next?